Hello and welcome to a little bit of me playing Algeria. Honestly, I played it again. It's such a good, interesting start. There's so much you can do, and yeah, I'm just gonna go straight into it. So, early game strategies. Expand. Just expand. Grab up everybody you can and try and not gain any interest from your surrounding neighbors because there's so much going on. Okay. Yeah, like, there's so much going on. You have Italy trying to interfere with everything around you. You have the threat of Spain just from a treaty port in Morocco. You have the French breathing down your neck repeatedly throughout the game. Honestly, it is the Ottomans are just there, and the Egyptians can just turn around and try and hunt you down as well. It is there's so much you have to deal with at once, and it is difficult to say the least. But yeah, early on you want to expand, you want to grab up the minor nations around you, and then you want to prepare to try and grab a giant chunk out of Morocco as soon as possible. Inner Morocco is the state I would pretty much always go for, because that state has... Sorry, it would be Inner Morocco and Fez, if I remember correctly. That's just me trying to get a theocrat. So, yep, and this is a civil war. Wow, we're already at that point. I remember this. Okay, civil war within 3 years. I was aggressive. This one was simple. AI didn't split their army. They got conquered very quickly, and... yeah, that just lets me do more stuff because landowners go burr into the ground forever, where they should be. But yeah, grab Inner Morocco, and then grab Fez, and then just try and survive. That's pretty much it, to be fair. You have a bunch of much more powerful nations surrounding you. You can try and play diplomatically and join one of them in... even Austria would probably be quite interested. Austria-Hungary. Or Austria, or whatever they're called. It doesn't matter. It's, yeah, grab your big old piece of Morocco. You genuinely will need it. And then after that you have to deal with, well, everything around you trying to burn you to the ground. And I think I was sneaky here and grabbed a third state. Yeah, I was sneaky. 40 infamy is bad, but I wasn't punished, so it's fine. But like, yeah, carry on. This is an insane game. There's so much you need to do. You need to build up an economy, you need to build up an army, you need to expand into North Africa, which means you need to fight the Ottomans eventually, because otherwise Tunis is just a giant stumble. You need a navy, and then actually constructing industry and facilities and tools and everything. There's a lot you need to do, and grabbing Inner Morocco is a key part of that, because Inner Morocco has a little bit of coal and a little bit of iron, and steel is helpful. Coal is also helpful because, you know, atmospheric engine. Otherwise, you're going to be relying on other nations, and then it's not going to give you a lot of it. Trading is good, but it is a bit hard as well. And then you've got to deal with the fact that you need to get more farmland and everything else, honestly. Yeah. The mistake I made last time, and the mistake you guys should avoid if you are going to be playing Mascara, also known as Algeria, yeah, you should avoid the colonization, I guess, I don't know, allure, because you have a very small population. Like, you'll top out at around 10k, and before you'll top around like 7.5 mil before you, by the time you unify this section. I wasn't able to expand into Tunis, basically. It is very hard to get the interest of, what's it called, Egypt in time to be able to grab Trip and Tunis from the Ottomans. But if you're successful enough to grab those two, you can very much bolster your industry with those two vassals, and eventually work on either you can unify what's the other state called? So there's Algeria you can form, which is your initial goal, aka fight France, and then eventually you're going to want to fight Egypt to create the Greater North Africa nation, the name of which I have completely forgotten, which was my goal for this. So first 40 years was just to try and form Algeria, and I almost get there. France is a tough nut to crack. It really is. It's terrifying. It is just such a fun place to play, though, because there's so many different... Like, I went theocratic this game. Like, I committed fully to the theocratic leader, theocratic possibilities, and it went pretty damn well. Like, who would have guessed? Like, I managed to get the theocrats in power. I managed to keep them at a very high level of power. I think I did go down from autocracy, but that's gonna happen. This is me swapping over to, steel. And honestly, there's so much to do. Again, I just keep saying that. Like, I could have gone communist. I could have gone, well, I guess ethno, but you don't really have that as a good option here. Because, accepted pops. You do get a few extra, I believe, when you form the Greater North Africa one, actually. So you might be in a much better spot to do that then. Although that could be a fun one to do as Egypt. I don't know if you can. And yeah, you're just trying to become a minor power. Or like a recognized minor power as soon as possible. A lot of trading. I went a little more in depth with the economy this game. Rushing agrarianism. It's pretty much my recommended move to get away from traditionalism as quick as possible. Like, agrarianism is an easy enough policy to enact when you can build a bunch of farms and build a bunch of stuff, and as you build up factories and mines and logging camps, you will end up without a problem just going straight into it and being like, yep, okay, landowners are now weakened. And yeah, you just want to build anything. Oh, there's the war with the Ottomans, yep. But yeah, and then you've got to fight the powers across the bay from you in Europe. And that's also very tough, because they have really good military tech, and they start with a navy and you don't. Mascara, it starts on a very, very much on the back foot, and you've got to fight and play these powers against each other and stuff, which is... And another thing, haha, I forgot about this, but I remembered now. You can use, what are they called? Lobbies, yes. You can use lobbies to your advantage as well, because, you know, there's so many lobbies you can form. There's anti-Spanish or pro-Spanish, the French, the Ottomans, the Egyptians, the Italians, like the Papal States. One really funny one, I don't know if it was this game or the last game, don't watch that last video, I didn't edit it properly, but I can't remember which one, but one of the games I played, hilarious, I had the Sunni Ulema religious group join the pro-Papal States lobby. I would probably hard code that as an exception. Paradox. You know, just as a it wouldn't make much sense anyway. But as you can see, Trip is currently being invaded by the Egyptians, and yeah, Mascara is just, yeah, it is just, oh sorry, I have disturbed my cat. Also, the other thing I did do was I changed my capital to Inner Morocco. It is objectively one of my favorite states currently in the region. It has a little bit of what you need, and also one of the other states, Fez. The reason I suggest you grab that one a little early is because it has sulfur, so if you want you can rush the paper tech and you can do paper, and then start exporting that en masse. People like paper. There's also military techs. You can try and use those, but there's no real good way of doing that because, yeah, ammunition's a pain. Unless you want to ally with Prussia like I did. And then you can kind of get quite a lot. Prussia tend to be okay with guns. But yeah, I would like a little more depth to the guns at some point, like different types and different techs and stuff. But other than that, you have, yeah, you do get quite a bit of a a bureaucracy problem when you expand this much. So you do tend to build a lot of bureaucratic things, and you need that paper anyway. And yeah, that's me building all the logging camps, and I don't think I ever finished them, but it's good to have. You can try private investment stuff as well, get some agreements with some of the larger powers, and they'll technically help you, but it's a bit risky. It's very risky. But you can cancel the agreement later and then bada bing bada boom, reclaim it. If you have the bureaucracy, that is. And yeah, you kind of do want the charity hospitals. You want education as well. Actually, is very important. You do start off, as you can see, around high 10s, low 20s in education percentage. Sooner you get that up, the better, because it means you can start filling your factories a bit quicker. That wasn't an issue here, because one of the advantages of having multiple states is you can kind of spread your construction out, especially with the amount of pops you have. So you do get a good amount of what you need. And yeah, try and keep those trades going. It's a lot better than I thought it was, and I regret not doing trading more in the trading simulator and economy simulator game. Who would have guessed? Yeah, Mascara is good. It's really good. It's so much fun. I'm coming back to this a few times, I think, because I definitely want to do a North Africa run. I definitely want to do a turn Spain into the bulk. So that was one of my earlier games with Morocco as well that I never recorded for reasons, is that I balkanized Spain with the help of the British. It was funny. That's actually one thing that I could have, well, as Mascara you kind of start off at war with Britain, but if you can get them as a friend, you can quite easily offer them that state in South Spain, the entirety of the state that they have Gibraltar in, as part of a peace deal in a war with Spain, if you wanted to say, I don't know, gain some independence for your good friend, Andalusia. Yeah, you could do that. Now that's an option. And then Barcelona, and then I believe it's Galicia, and then Spain is now 4 different completely independent states, which you can gobble up bit by bit. As North Africa. Yeah, that also works. The same thing with Italy, actually. You can conquer states in Italy if you want, but you shouldn't. You should probably just vassalize them. Like, I'm becoming more of a fan of vassalization, at least for a lot of states now. Because you sacrifice the direct control, but with the new subject mechanics, it's just more interesting. If you vassalize people, it's just more interesting. As Mascara, it is a bit hard to do because you have to fight the very simple thing, which is, well, you're a minor power, basically. And it's hard to lose that status because you can exceed a lot of people in... Oh, this is me paused because I'm thinking or just sitting there. But glass is also there. Yeah, you do have... In the furthest right state there that we currently have, just before Tunis, there's a bit of lead as well, so you can get your leaded glass and all that good stuff. And this, I think this is literally just me having left and forgot to pause the recording, which is hilarious, but you can kind of see this is a good point, like 20 years into, and I have a bit of a budget surplus. I think that's because I'm getting ready for a civil war. Oh yeah, the preserved tradition. Yeah, this is me finally finishing... Oh, agrarianism took like 5 years, 5-10 years to actually, do that as quickly as possible, please. But yeah, like it's a really, honestly, it's just so much fun. The more the better. There you go. But yeah, so now I do a lot of politicking with Prussia in particular, like focusing on them. because I do want them as an ally. I want them to help me fight France, basically. The problem is that they are not enough to fight France. Even though they really want to fight France. They always want to fight France, please. I think if I were to redo this, I would maybe wait for France and Britain to have a tussle. They might. And if they do, persuade them to jump in and help jump in on the side of the British and ask them for a war goal, maybe? Yeah, I wish. Yeah, also Turkey becomes, I think it becomes socialist or something. Oh, there you go. I think I had a bit of a crash or something there. Or I just completely quit because power cuts or reasons. You know, things happen. I have no idea. I think I just alt F4'd because I needed to. Oh, right, yes, that was probably when I went to war with Tunis, and then for some reason Turkey vassalized me as a primary war goal, which was not fun. So I just skipped that and just backed down immediately, lost a bit of money, but like that's better than becoming a vassal of Turkey and then having to spend 20 years fighting to become independent again. Especially when I'm still, what is this? It's been 2 years and we're just barely finishing up. Oh no, we did actually finish it in the last 2 years. Okay, I was gonna say otherwise am I still doing agrarianism? I might be, but we're kind of getting towards the midpoint and the end, and yeah, like this is some good stuff, to be completely honest. I think yeah, I did become defensive pact with Sardinia Piedmont, which was very nice. Huh. My mistake. I think I cancelled that actually, just like before France goes to war. Maybe not the best idea. But yeah. I should probably float more Diplo power to persuade other nations to help me out. And this is me beating up Morocco because I managed to find a little sneaky way of beating up Morocco. Let's go. We now have most of the stuff we need. This is where sadly I couldn't retake the treaty port because Britain was just not having me this game, sadly, which is so disappointing. Like, we could rip up Spain, Britain, if you just let me help you. But yeah, no, you start off pretty, but also you do start with a fairly good military for the region. One of the only nations in the region with actual line infantry. Even though you don't have the tech, it's very confusing. But yeah, you just gotta keep going. You just gotta keep fighting. Eventually, yeah, trading, lots of trading, lots of balancing economies, trying to figure stuff out. Hardwood actually does become an issue at some point, but then I figure it out, fix it. This is me considering going to war with Portugal because they are very exposed, but, well, I'm going for a more religious game, which obviously doesn't really work because I can't really assimilate the Portuguese culture and then convert them into, well, into Muslims, which, yeah, maybe a different game. Maybe we'll go with an atheist Algeria. To be fair, the aim of this was for me to go religious folk, religious faction, religious interest group, there you go, create a power block that was the religious power block, because I haven't messed with power blocks yet, and I think I need to. But if I wanted to do that, I would maybe play a different nation that actually started off with enough of an economy that I could become a major power easily enough. Like Spain, or America, or two Sicilies. Or two Sicilies. Yeah. Two Sicilies, you start off in a great spot. You can fight the Pope. Or as, you know, start as the Pope. That's a fun one as well. Who else could do a pretty good one? Pretty much any of the European nations, pretty much. Maybe if I wanted something tough like Vietnam. Maybe if I wanted something a bit remarkably easier, Egypt. I do need to do an Egypt game. What else is there? Turkey, you could do it as Turkey. The Ottomans, you could do it as the Ottomans. Yeah, I'm just looking at the map. If you wanted a difficult start, Sokoto, like I did last time, or Brazil. Yeah, I forgot about Brazil. And yeah, America, Canada, as a bunch of nations you can play. Great King is a very difficult one actually to become a major power because of the GDP per capita requirements and all types of other stuff. But you can do it. And yeah, like, just here's the thing. You gotta make money. And I am floating a lot of cash here. I think that was on purpose because I was gonna buy a bunch of stuff. And also because I was... But yeah, I did try out some other stuff actually in a different game where I tried to get a lot more building done so that I could deal with that, and it worked quite well actually. Effectively, I just spent the game turning construction on and off so that I could actually, and then yeah. But I think laissez-faire is a good point for that instead. We'll see. This one was fun. Agrarian, max out my religious faction and see what we could do. And then we get beaten up by France. But we do get Prussia on our side, and they do help us a tiny bit. Just not enough. And I messed around with trading a lot more. That block on the right there, just... I'd like those extra states, to be completely honest. That extra tax income and extra resources would have been nice to have. Yeah, no. Especially that wood. But yeah, you just build your technologies. You grab sulfite pulping as soon as you can, and then you start, you know, pumping sulfur into it. This was the point where I decided I wanted to start going a bit insane with my research and stuff. So I started building my universities, and I started doing that. And it was going pretty well. This is... Pretty much I was at this point where I'm like, cool, I've got myself a solid position in the world. I exist. I'm just going to build up, and I am going to work as hard as I can to try and beat Spain, beat France eventually, form Morocco, and then focus my attention on Egypt. And maybe vassalize a few minor powers here and there. That's pretty much all I wanted to do. And to be fair, that's probably what I should have done. But, well, if I hadn't decided to antagonize the French as early as I did. Yeah. At some point, we're going to have to consider the possibility that I could diplomatically request France to untreaty port me in the future. That would be nice. I suspect that is not an option. But that could be. You never know. What do we have here? We have... Yeah, this is Triptania Civil War? Yep. So... Oh no, I think they become independent at some point. I notice they don't have any allies or anyone willing to defend them. So I just swoop in and vassalize them. And that's what I've been waiting for a bit too much of the game. But due to the fact that the Ottomans will fall, that does become inevitable, and then eventually Trip becomes a vassal. Yay! And now I'm just working on keeping them vassalized. And reducing their interest in it, which, yeah, is literally just make friends with them, and then they'll stop trying to become independent, and you're good to go. And that was me discovering we had a positivist, which would have been great if I was doing a more liberal run. But we didn't, so it's not necessary. Also, if we were doing a more liberal run, I probably would have gotten landed voting by now. Almost certainly would have got landed voting by now, actually, which would have changed the pace of entirely. Potentially even have got I'd have gotten interventionism by now, which would be great. But I do believe now, yep, we're getting to the point towards the end of the video. The French are about to demand something absurd of me, or they're just gonna straight up ask me for land, or I'm just gonna ignore like a request, a polite request from them. Not sure what happens here. I have genuinely no idea what happened here. I am not sure. Do I become a vassal of two Sicilies? It looks like I've become a vassal of two Sicilies. Yeah. Which implies that I've actually gotten in... No, I've got a few more... Oh, okay, sorry. Timing-wise, this was a bit suspicious, but I think I do end up just alt F4ing this bit. Because, yeah... No. I'm just not dealing with... Sorry, that was... I think I mentioned it earlier, where it was becoming vassal of the Ottomans. No, it was becoming a vassal of two Sicilies. Which I just decided is a solid no thank you. And now that I think about it, I could have sworn I go to war with France. Like, I distinctly remember going to war with France, with Prussia at my side, and things going very badly. And I'm waiting for that to happen. And I'm very scared that it is not about to happen in the next 5 minutes, in the next 2 or 3 minutes, or however long. Okay. We have a minute and a bit. We'll see. I'm now nervous. Yeah. But now it's just, yeah, building stuff, basically building my economy up, and there's a little bit of a steel mill. And, oh, yep, there you go. France does actually declare war on me. Good. Very good. Very fun. And yeah, so we see that our good friend Prussia have decided to join us in this war, which is great. Except Prussia, for some reason, as the AI, decide to leave a few of their troops in inoptimal positions, to say the least. And for some reason, the French are just completely not, yeah. Like, yeah. We kind of get crushed on all fronts. The Prussians barely hold off on the mainland, but I get thrown into that, and then I just decide no, and honestly, that's completely fair. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and see you around.